Now, since you are from medical background, and
Yes.
for the people from medical background, CSAT has always been a problem. So how did you tackle CSAT? Because I think that will be very important also for a lot of aspirants who are from non-mathematics, engineering background. So what was your strategy for CSAT?
My strategy was for comprehension as well as for maths was two diverse part. So maths, first of all, thing is that entrance background actually helped me quite a bit because I loved doing problems. But again, since a long time into medical field without any problems, actually created a bit of hustle.
Now, a lot of people say that PYQ is the key for prelims.
Yes.
How did you use PYQ for your prelim preparation?
There are two pillars that UPSC bank upon. Then one is the syllabus and the other one is PYQs. So prelim syllabus, we can say it is very crisp, so we can't figure out anything from it.
Very ambiguous.
Very ambiguous. So unlike mains, which has a very structured syllabus. But framework sessions that you used to take, that was really very enriching. That you had, just like how I told with each part, out to various intros that can be brought, the body, various framework that can be brought to the body as well as conclusion. So all this helped us to create the framework within us. So any question if it comes, we can handle it in a good way.
Hello everyone. Welcome to another Toppers Talk. Now, cracking UPSC once is tough. Cracking UPSC twice is even tougher. But cracking UPSC thrice is an achievement which very few candidates can do it. Because I have also seen a lot of candidates getting a rank once and then after that in the subsequent attempts, they fail in getting a rank. So we have someone who has actually cracked the code of clearing UPSC, Vineeth, Dr. Vineeth, who has secured All India rank of 129. Who has earlier secured the rank of 169 and 211. So Vineeth, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
So Vineeth, you were a doctor, right?
Yes, sir.
So kya hua? Like what happened in your journey ki suddenly your goal post shifted from being a doctor to being a civil servant?
So coming to the answer, this has now become a mundane answer because all the doctors who have been telling about the same has to do the same kind of answer, that is COVID time.
Yes.
So my aspect also actually started over there. I did my internship during the peak of COVID second and third waves, during which I have seen the extreme situation that we can see in the health sector. So there were like long queues of ambulance in our hospital, 2 to 3 kilometers. And we doctors were in a very kind of helpless situation. And it was the intervention of our DM that actually solved the entire aspect. All of a sudden, our college ground were utilized and temporary facility of 100 bedded oxygen beds were set up, which solved the entire issue, which a doctor could never have done. So this was the thing that provided me the spark. Okay, then if we can be a social doctor in that perspective to address various issues of society, why don't we give a try? That's how the shift happened, and UPSC was like graceful enough to actually give the ranks and lead times.
So after you had decided that you want to prepare, so did you plan to come to Delhi or you thought that I'll prepare it online only?
Sir, initially I had the plan of coming to Delhi, but it was a time, as told, it was a time of COVID, and we know everything was like actually getting shifted to online mode. So I understood that that time even online mode can be a very feasible mode of preparation, and with the comfort and various facilities back at home. So that's why I decided, okay, I would stay in Kerala itself and I would prepare from Kerala with the various facilities that is available over there. And whatever addition like help I require, maybe in terms of test series or other mentorship or that is required, I would take online part. And only time I have been to Delhi is for interviews all the 3 times.
So that was the first time you came to Delhi.
Yes, sir.
Great. So this is a very important fact that he is speaking, that you don't need to come to Delhi to crack UPSC. You can crack UPSC even by staying in your hometown, right? We had done an earlier podcast with AR41 Sudeepa, and she has prepared from Jharkhand, never came to Delhi, only for interview. And then we have Dr. Vineeth, who is also emphasizing the same fact that it's not necessary to come to Delhi. So if you are not in Delhi, you're not missing out a lot.
I actually even feel that I was actually my decision was good enough to stay back because the very first time I visited ORN, I was like, Acha, we are competing against this many people.
Yes.
So like I was like, okay, at least I have reached interview and this part. Okay, then we are at least in a like almost near stage. Had I seen that during prelims, I think I wouldn't have cracked this. Seeing such a competition.
Yes. It's a very discouraging.
It's kind of a discouraging.
To see so many people. Oh, these are your competitors, and they are kind of studying so hard. Am I that good? So all these feelings emerge when you are in or
Exactly,
right,
sir.
right.
Exactly.
So basically, if we talk about prelims preparation first.
Yes.
Now, a lot of people say that PYQ is the key for prelims.
Yes.
How did you use PYQ for your prelims preparation?
Sir, definitely, I believe UPSC, one narrative about UPSC is that anything under the sky can be asked. But it is not at all the case because there are two pillars that UPSC bank upon. Then one is the syllabus and the other one is PYQs. So prelim syllabus, we can say it is very crisp, so we can't figure out anything from it.
Very ambiguous.
Very ambiguous. So unlike mains, which has a very structured syllabus. But PYQs are very lucid. We can extremely very well extract kind of the particular areas that can be asked. So I was well thorough with the PYQs of from 2011 to the previous year before which I had given the interview. Attempt, the prelims attempt. That is, first attempt was 23. So up to 22, I was very well thorough. When 24 I gave, 23 also I was thorough. So in that terms, so if you ask me one particular question any year, I could say back which year that question belonged to, what were the 4 options in that question. So I was so much thorough with that. And I was also thorough with not just the answer, but the remaining options also. So that was a kind of importance I had given. And I would also marked the key areas from which those questions could arise. For example, the revenue systems of British. And I made revision notes based out of that.
Okay.
So that was
So that is a very, very, a good strategy that you had, because I think PYQ also tells you that these are the most important focus areas. So that rule, that 80-20 rule that we say, that kind of 80% questions are asked from those 20% thieves.
Yes.
So I believe it is very, very applicable if you have done the PYQ well.
Yes, and also one point is the examiner language. We have a few questions are that you would never know, but without even knowing, you can crack it. Because of examples that all of the nuclear power plants are private. So at least some of the mushrooms are poisonous. So these are things that UPSC gives you free hits to make it correct.
Yes. And I think that's a very important fact that you are saying, that UPSC prelims is not just about knowledge, it is also about eliminating the 3 wrong options.
Exactly.
Because that's also because you cannot solve the question only with knowledge in all the questions.
Yes.
I mean, definitely you need a lot of knowledge, and along with that, if you can use that smartness.
Exactly.
I would say. So your first prelims was 2023.
Yes, sir.
It was a shocker for most of the aspirants. I mean, the cutoff fell to 73 or 74.
Yes.
How did you, as a first-time aspirant, when you saw the paper, you felt something really, really terrible, or you were like, okay, I'll solve it?
So I think that was a time when the first-time advantage came in, because you don't know to judge a paper. Because you're like, it's a first-time paper. So we are of the knowledge that, okay, UPSC sets up some bouncers, some traps. This is another trap. I felt, okay, this is how normally UPSC comes up, and this is a normal paper that UPSC sets in. Hence, I try to maintain the same thing which I had done for the test series part. All the mock tests that I done. There was the attending strategy in 3 rounds. There was the number of questions that are highest strike rate for me. So I maintained the same thing even for CSAT. The same thing I maintained. I do a structured approach and time-wise work. I just did whatever I had practiced in the previous 4-5 months for prelims. I just went and executed it there. I was never concerned about the toughness of the paper. I think that worked out. So that's where that first time advantage came in there.
And what was the score in prelims?
So at that time I had 85.
85. So you were almost 11, 12 marks of the cutoff.
Yes.
Now talking about note making, did you made any short notes, any revision notes for prelims?
Yes, sir. I had made notes for them. As I noted earlier, from the PYQs, I noted the themes which are getting repeated, as well as I noted the factual info that is required. So for various subjects, if we consider, I had a very lucid note for ancient medieval history. It was one of the very hardest subjects for me. I couldn't remember all these facts. So what I did was that I wanted to ensure full strike rate for those questions that others would definitely make it right. So I created a chronology note from right from the initial ancient part to the medieval part, which would be over in a 15-pager setup. So in 15-page, I could finish off entire ancient medieval. Similarly, I identified like constitutional bodies and non-constitutional bodies, the revenue systems, the present journals. So all these kind of key areas I spotted, and also I used the mapping part for geography and international relation kind of questions. So these kind of pictorial parts also I used. I made them together in digital notes, and I kept on revising them. So I made a note of important topics that I have to revise before each mock test, final mock test. So I could ensure that I am covering up all important parts before the exam, and also before the final exam. On the previous 2 days, all the important things that I have to cover, I had made a separate list of that. So I ensure that I do not miss out on any of the key topics. This was how I went in.
Okay, so I mean that's a very important thing, because you can't revise Lakshmikant in the last final week before the exam, or let's say spectrum. So it's always helps if you have those tiny notes that you can go through, and that can give you all that information that you can tend to forget, right? So it's a very important thing that he's saying, that way ultimately the main purpose is that you can't refer to the original books in the final weeks. So if you have notes, you can go for multiple revisions.
Yes.
And that always helps in prelims examination, where you are studying so many subjects.
Yes.
Okay. Now moving back to the mock test.
Yes.
In prelims. So did you do the mock test?
Yes, sir. I had done mock test. So there are two kind of thing. If a particular week is concerned, I would decide what subject to be studied for that, and I would start with the pattern of questions asked. So I would start with PYQs. So I would identify key areas. I would focus on key areas. I would make the notes for that particular aspect. Then I would do extra questions in a bit, maybe 20 questions from any of the papers. And that weekend, that is Sunday, I would give a full test for that subject. So likewise, I covered each subject. And if I feel that my confidence is not up to mark for that subject, I take additional tests maybe the next Wednesday of that week. And after that, towards April part, I mean, from March end onwards, I start taking the entire real mock test. And I also make up the list of topics to be covered based on order of priority for each full length. So by third mock test, I would have covered most of the key areas. So the remaining tests I could do in a very full manner. That I would focus mainly on timing. The rounds and timing part. And I try to give in a full manner, like morning I give GS test and afternoon I give CSAT part. So I would identify the areas where I'm missing out. I was not concerned about content because it was not, I somehow realized that it is not about content game, but the composure and other part that we are maintaining. And whenever I used to do that, I stimulated the exact prelim scenario. I never looked the key in between. Those 2 hours, I would take rest from everything, and I would take the test again from 2:30 to 4:30. So I just simulated that conditions, and that helped me really in the last day also, the real prelims day also. So I think this extra conditions other than the mere content preparation also helped me a lot.
Now, since you are from medical background, and for the people from medical background, CSAT has always been a problem, right? I have seen a lot of my students failing in CSAT.
Yes.
So how did you tackle CSAT? Because I think that will be very important also for a lot of aspirants who are from non-mathematics, engineering background. So what was your strategy for CSAT?
Yes. Sir, so my strategy was for comprehension as well as for maths was two diverse part. So maths, first of all, thing is that entrance background actually helped me quite a bit because I loved doing problems. But again, since a long time into medical field without any problems, actually created a bit of hassle.
And I think 2023 CSAT was also very tough.
Very tough. And the time, and I had not taken any coaching for CSAT.
Okay.
So while doing the questions that day, like even from the 2:30 to 4:30 on the real exam hall, I was actually feeling full guilt. I should have taken, I took it for granted, this part. And the first thing I should do after going is that join a CSAT coaching class. But I believe that's where the exam hall, the scenario, the thing helps, because I had scored 103 marks for that.
103?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So that's where I felt, okay, that is, when the marks came only, that's after thing. I realized if we are able to maintain the composure, we can do that, because I picked the questions really well that day. Only those questions which we can do by logical sense, I picked it. I tried to do it whenever I left my ego. So even if I was not getting questions within 2.5 minutes, I left it. I went to the next question. And I also rightly picked the comprehension wala. So I understood comprehension is easy. So I was doing reverse tracking of options, because comprehension is also based on the GS logic.
Yes.
UPSC source the questions from journals only. They don't do the philosophical kind of or the fantasy kind of questions. So there's a logic associated with that. So I was picking out those ones. So I could save my time over there in comprehensions. And I devoted that extra time I gained through comprehension towards, again, the quant questions. So I could increase a bit. I could do almost, I was able to do 58 questions. So I was okay. Fine. I had done adequate number of questions to breach that 66 marks. And hence that actually, and I used to do the PYQs of CSAT as well from maybe 2015 onwards. Actually, few of the questions help from that perspective also. What it requires is that UPSC do not require us to by heart formula and other stuff. If we are able to do the logical thing well, that would be rewarded. Even for 23, none of the questions were actually probability and permutation. It was mere addition and subtraction. If we could do in a logical sense, we could get the answers. So that was the thing I had done for CSAT, sir.
I mean, that's a very important point that you have saying, that you have to choose your question.
Yes.
The idea is that we should never, feel the ego that, I have to solve this maths question. Let's say if you are not able to solve it, give it like maximum 2 minutes.
So 2 minutes.
Yes. Beyond that, I think you should leave it to the next question. And choosing the question is something which is definitely a very good strategy for CSAT.
Yes.
Now coming to mains preparation.
Yes.
Did you make notes for the mains?
Yes, sir. So while coming the first attempt, that time we are never aware of the thing that we have to make notes. So while starting part in 23, I qualified prelims, and when starting mains, it's entirely new to the thing. We have to have notes or anything. So I didn't have notes at that time. But I took the initial test and all. Then I understood, okay, this doesn't work without notes. So I had a responsibility of making notes for my optional subject as well as thing. So that was a very challenging part. It was almost as if I had even a time when the test and the mentor who had writing was, he told, I had asked him, every answer he writes that lack of content, scope for improvement. And I asked him, so do you have any hope that I would qualify? You have next attempts. I mean, indirectly you told you are not going to qualify. Like, I was like, okay, then, so that was actually a very big boost for me, because the expectations on my shoulders all of a sudden went off.
Yes.
So I had a free head. So there's one process, but I was following. Just as soon as I realized that I wanted notes, and the notes have to be very crisp, because I can't cover up entire thing. And I am up against those people in servers, those who are giving multiple mains, interview, all this part. So here the coverage have to be important. So I have to put in extra work. And also my optional has also not been anywhere covered up. So I put in extra hours. There were like almost all those days I was the last person who would leave the reading room, my library. And I tried to make notes for each of them. I tried to make only very crisp notes. One hitting intro, just the other than the common the made up points, other than early specific points, key additive like recommendation. So every my note would be less than a page. It would be a 1-pager kind of note. And I was also doing, so I split the time for a week between optional and GS. Likewise carried on, but at the same time I made sure I did go through topper answer copies. So how I do is that I would read through the questions and their answers first. Then as time progressed to the further weeks, I try to mask their answers. I would brainstorm the answers first. Then I would compare with the topper answers. So then whatever was the correction, how they wrote, actually I would then try to recorrect myself. And this exercise had helped me to a great extent, because I became very strong in question deconstructing. So I could bring in an extra dimension to a question, which was normally not present in the key, or normally other papers don't write. So maybe even if they like the question narrative is explained, I try to bring in if there is another dimension. So like this, my answers tend to, like, it started getting better. And like I also wrote answers every week. Every day I wrote the daily answer writing, as well as weekly I wrote the test, even if I do not know the content for that. So this helped me to address bouncer questions. So yes, for that very example is that the Purvaya question came at that year. So, and they had known the Easterly event. So I understood, I was not knowing exactly where is this like the part of region called. So it is somewhere that monsoon moves in easterly. So the only place where monsoon moves in easterly is in the northern belt, the Gangetic plains. So it should be around the Bhojpuri region. So that should coincide. So even without knowing the thing, I made up the answer with this understanding. So this is a logical deduction that I do. So this was actually from the kind of minimal content that we are writing answers.
I think that's a very important thing that you're saying.
Yes.
That you cannot have content for every question.
Yes,
right?
exactly, sir.
I mean, definitely there are certain questions where you have to use,
Yes.
that smart work to actually derive those points. Right?
Yes, sir, exactly.
Now, talking about note making,
Yeah.
how was the note making strategy different? Because this is a question a lot of aspirants ask me also.
Yes.
That with respect to prelims and mains, what is the difference in the note making strategy of prelims and mains?
Sir, with regarding to prelims,
Hmm.
I try to make use of the memory triggering part.
Hmm.
So memory can be better triggered when we say about the neuroscience
Hmm.
also. The representation matters,
Hmm.
the tabular representation, the pictorial
Hmm.
representation, these matters.
Hmm.
So I tried to utilize this.
Hmm.
So most of the notes, if we look at them that I had made, used to be either as a flow chart,
Hmm.
that for if you want chronology or anything,
Hmm.
or it would be in a map based part.
Hmm.
If you have to spot any like national park
Hmm.
or rivers, the
Hmm.
tributaries of rivers,
Hmm.
all I used to mark in map, or it could be tables. So tables in terms of the system that it can be better memorized. So more revision can also be done. While coming to the mains part, it is more holistic. We ought to have. So I divided the parts. So I should have a. I made two intros. So it would be two different kind of intros. One would be maybe definition based, or maybe a current affairs based, or one may be a statistics based. So I can, based on the nature of question, I can use either of these intros. Then I would have the next part, that is the intro part. So I would normally, it would be, so if we divide the pillars, it would be any topic, it would be positives of that topic, negatives of that topic, challenges of that topic, solutions of that topic, and with the conclusion way forward. So I tried to do, split in every topic in terms of this. In addition, some value addition in terms of any diagram. So I would also try to inculcate some diagram in my note also that can be represented without much putting in any memory effort during the mains. So we can, time is always the gold standard in mains, if you are able to get the points. So under all these heads that are pillars I had mentioned, I would only spot in very key point, the specific point. I would never bring in general point in the notes, so that maximum specific points can be again brought again in the real paper. So that's how mains notes used to be, and it's also used to be very crisp, because we have to how much ever notes we make, unless and until if we don't revise it the previous day, we are not going to remember it for the exam. So that's why thought actually made me to made very crisp notes.
I think what you have said is, I'll just summarize it. So for prelims, your point is that the note should be made in a way that can help you with recall.
Recall it.
And I think for that, if you are having this pictorial or table based, that will let you, that will help you in that recall process. For mains, the main purpose of note picking is to enrich your answers.
Enrich, exactly.
And therefore, if the notes are made in a form that can be directly replicated to your answer with introduction, with main body, like key points and conclusion, definitely it helps. Right?
Yes.
Okay, so talking about answer writing, right?
Yes.
What was your, strategy of answer writing? I mean, I know that, but
yes,
I want the aspirants to know that.
Yes, sir. So my answer writing strategy was greatly evolved in the first attempt, and it has been almost a continuation and further refinement in my second and third attempts. So first attempt, it was understanding what answer stands for, because I still remember the very first month after I qualified my mains in my first answers, it was nothing related to UPC answer. That was but what I'm thankful over that is that I could make it a real UPSC answer within 2 months by the time I was giving the mains. So what helped me is that daily answer writing. So that helped me in refining the answers, bringing it towards the required structure of UPSC. And my weekly test actually helped me in calibrating this for the time that is allotted within 3 hours. So this answer, how we can fasten our speed, how much content can be included. So all this was there. And the final mock test, it actually helped me in maintaining the fatigue. So we are all of a sudden writing for 6 hours. It's not so easy. It's actually, when we see about mains, it's not just a mental exam. It's a very physical
exam, yes.
So especially when the time we are writing ethics, it is a paper that is having the very great physical requirement. It will be having at the most fatigue stage.
Yes.
So this requires preparement in that way also. So that was another part. And this also requires our equal management between optional and mains. I mean, like GS part. So this was further which I tried to make in, along with referring to topper copies for getting a structure. So that was my strategy.
Now, talking about the interview experience, your face interview thrice, right?
Yes.
Now you see there is so much. If you see after the results, so many reels are out of so many mock interviews talking about all that thing.
Yes, sir.
Was the actual interview also like the same? Like the kind of reels that are very famous now?
Yes, sir. Sir, I think, especially being after facing board for 3 times, UPSC board is something that is of a type that only UPSC board can do about. No other boards can emulate that, no other mock boards. It was only for that you just get used to the surroundings.
Yeah.
The kind of questions, maybe some may be lucky to get it, but otherwise it can be totally random. And I am someone who have been exposed to most random questions in my various interviews. And always I have felt after, so every time I have come out of board, I have felt, okay, I would be totally done with the
I know.
board.
I mean, what was the interview score this year?
So my interview was 195. The other time also 195, so I have maintained the 190.
And I believe when we spoken, you said that my interview. I'm unsure.
What happened?
What happened?
I had expected very low score because the kind of questions I had very factual, very random kind of questions, which was not at all related with my diet.
I think what do you make out of that? UPSC asked you these random questions just to test your calmness
and
level?
temperament, sir. It's exactly what, because it is not just once, it has been now twice. Because like with the same kind of very random interview. Last year, I still remember one of the questions was, it was asked me like, what's the rate of glacier melting? And I replied back, sorry sir, I don't remember the exact value now. And the question that I received back, we expected being a doctor, you would be knowing. And even till day, I don't know what is the relation between a doctor and glacier melting. So this kind of, but thing was that I am sorry, sir, but I still, but so I, even if it was a don't know, I used to say with a smile and a confidence. That's what the board is looking for.
Okay. So the most random question that have been asked to you, I mean, if you compare your 3 interviews, something that had like shook you like anything.
Okay. So I think that was for this year. So I didn't have anything related to sea or fishing or scuba diving, nothing. But all of a sudden, one of the board members asked me, till what depth have you been into the sea? Like, I was also, I didn't understand what the question meant because there's nothing related. I politely asked him, like, sir, did you mean by depth? Is it like going in a boat or like going below sea? What depth? I mean, like, so he asked me, how have you gone? I told, sir, I have only gone in a boat and I have never been below sea. So I didn't. He asked me, oh, if you have only gone in one method, why did you ask me the question back? You could only say that part. I come, sir, I wanted to clarify because I never knew going in a boat is considered to be depth. I only knew going below sea is considered to be depth. So I think when I now retrospect, these are the kind of things that thought process and the presence of mind that they are looking for. That even the counter questions you ask, how like logically you ask the questions. So I think from the interview thing also, I think these are the kind of qualities that they are looking about.
Okay. Now we are left with almost 2 months for prelims now.
Yes.
So what do you think should be the strategy for the final 60 days for any person who is giving the attempt for the first time?
Yes. So I think now with the prelims upcoming, this phase is in terms of even science also, when we say entropy at its maximum. Now the results have come, every kind of the topper videos and this means the Telegram channels also, every resource are available. Every institute would come with some or the other kind of materials, and students would take up, okay, this polity material, this art and culture. They would all of a sudden they would disregard their material that they have been preparing for all this time, and even current affairs, the current affairs classes and all this kind of thing. But I believe the major thing that they have to keep trust in their process that they have been doing, stick to the basics. That is a static, always, though new kind of questions may come, the new topics might be asked, but UPSC never does do away with their typical language, UPSC examiner language, as well as the key areas. Definitely the questions would come from that. And also the multiple revisions that they have to do. Due focus for CSAT. Because CSAT, even if you're from IIT, max background, max optional, because there are also instances where max optional people have failed a CSAT.
Yes.
So never ever take anything for granted. Just remain grounded and just do your basics, and never ever compare. This journey is different for everyone, and never ever compare with the your friend or anyone who is sitting next to you. Each journey is different because prelims is just a hurdle. You need not come more than the other person. You just need to come above the minimum mark.
Yes.
So I think that just do that. Things would be done easily.
So last question, what is the feedback you want to give of the mentorship support and the answer writing frameworks that they were provided at Sarrthi IAS?
So I believe that the mentorship and mains mentorship, that was actually very, especially the framework sessions that you used to take, that was really very enriching. That you had, just like how I told with each part, out to various intros that can be brought, the body, various framework that can be brought to the body as well as conclusion. So all this helped us to create the framework within us. So any question, if it comes, we can handle it in a good way, and that not just in a normal way, but in a very good way we can handle it. So that makes us more confident about the mains. So that we can be assured that, okay, mains is something that we have, okay, done and dusted. We need not be worried about that. And also the feedbacks that you have to give for the answers that were written. So, okay, then we get the knowledge, okay, oh, we could have done in that way. That alternate thinking pathway was also provided. So I think that was always very enriching. So we are also available all the time. So hence, I would rate to be very beneficial in that perspective.
So, Vineeth, we thank you for coming to this podcast, because you have actually suggested a lot of practical things, both for prelims and mains. And this is because you have actually tried them. So you had a methodology of cracking UPSC. You know what has worked with you. So that would be very, very enriching for the aspirants also. And we wish you very, very all the best in your future as a civil servant. And thanks for coming.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And very best wishes to each and every one of you who is giving this attempt. Hope to see you in the list soon this year.